Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is John and this is your Modern Tech Breakdown. Today I'm talking about yet another threat to Google's cash cow search business. Let's jump into it. If you've been a regular viewer of this channel, you'll be aware of the multiple threats to Google's search business, which I will remind is around half of the parent company Alphabet's entire revenue. Let's recap them really quickly before we analyze this new one. First, there is AI. Google itself has released AI overviews, which on the surface would appear to upset the long-standing business model for Google search business. Namely, publishers provide content to Google for free, and in exchange, Google provides web traffic, which publishers can monetize with advertising. Then we also have the recent Department of Justice ruling that Google is a monopoly and has exercised monopoly power over the search industry. And you'll also remember that the European Union is investigating the Google App Store, as well as its practice of steering users to its own internal properties. And you'll also remember that the UK just dropped an investigation, but is expected to revive it based on a new law passed in that country. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but there are a lot of threats to Google's cash cow search business. But this brings us to today's story. Here I have a very interestingly worded article from the New York Times titled, "Google Joins $250 million Deal to Support Newsrooms in California." Yeah, if you're like me, you're probably scratching your head and wondering, why would Google spend millions of shareholder dollars on a handout for dying newsrooms? There's a bit more to it. I've highlighted the most salient points. Let's jump into it. Google, a news industry trade group, and key California lawmakers announced a first-in-the-nation agreement on Wednesday aimed at shoring up newsrooms in the state with as much as $250 million. Through a mix of funding from Google, taxpayers, and potentially other private sources, the 5-year deal would let Google avert a proposed state bill that would force tech companies to pay news organizations when advertising appeared alongside articles on the tech company's platform. The announcement was packed with praise for the effort to stabilize the news industry, which has faced layoffs and shuttered newsrooms as readership has shifted online. Okay, got it. So the award for the most misleading headline of the year goes to the New York Times. To be fair, they did explain the situation right in the second paragraph, but here's a more accurate and honest headline. Google agrees to pay up to $55 million in a shakedown scheme orchestrated by California lawmakers. This is unreal. The politicians in Sacramento have been threatening Google with a bill that would completely upend Google's business model for its search business. And in exchange for backing off with this bill, they've forced Google to make an 8-figure donation to news organizations in the state of California. And let's not forget these, quote, newsrooms, as the New York Times so eloquently put it, are private for-profit businesses. But hold on, folks. This is California we're talking about. You know the story is just going to get better. Let me scroll down a bit and read another section. The deal would establish a news transformation fund administered by the Graduate School of Journalism at the University of California, Berkeley, to preserve and expand California-based journalism. Okay, wow. I'm sure my audience is going to be very surprised to learn that the author of this bill, Buffy Wicks, happens to represent, wait for it, Berkeley, California. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that this massive $250 million fund is going to be run from inside the district of the author of this horrendous shakedown. But now let's think about this for a second. I'm sure these politicians have many talking points about why they are stealing money from Google and the California taxpayer. But here's the real reason behind this story. Why on earth would any news operation report honestly and objectively on any of these politicians when these politicians now and for the next 5 years will have a slush fund of money sloshing around to throw to news organizations? Do you think any of these so-called newsrooms would dare run a critical expose on any of these entrenched Democrat politicians? I highly doubt it. This is straight up, unadulterated corruption based on collusion between big tech, California lawmakers, academia, and media organizations. Man, you know, there used to be a name for it when all the powerful people at the top of government, academia, and business colluded. What was that word? I want to say it started with an F and ended with ism. I can't remember it. But anyway, this story really made my blood boil. And now if you live in California and can do something about it, I hope it makes your blood boil too. But that's where I'll leave it for today. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you next time.